Today, inshallah, we will see how to implement some sequential logic using Verilog. Sequential logic like latch, flip-flop, finite state machine, so on. So, for designing sequential logic, we need a structure called always. Okay, always at a list, then some statements. This means here, if this list is true, then this statement will happen. Like if, like if, yes, like if statement. So let us see one example. This is example of D flip-flop, right? You know D flip-flop? We talked about D flip-flop in chapter number 3. In D flip-flop, we know that, say if this is D flip-flop, we have the input and a clock, right? And with the rising edge of clock from low to high, right? When the clock goes from, say, low to high, then the flip-flop will transfer the data from input to the output, right? With the clock from the rising edge, right? From high to low, low to high, right? It was low, low. When you make high, with the edge, it will load the data in the output, D flip-flop. Okay. Now, how can you write a code for that in Verilog? So we write a module, and this is the name. This is the name. It can be, you can give another name like DFF for D flip-flop or flip-flop. You can give names. So he gave a name here, flop. Now it has two inputs, right? Input clock and input D. Now this is a flip-flop of 4 bits. It can store 4 bits. That's why D is 4 bits. Okay. And we have one output Q, which is also 4 bits in output Q, and it is 4 bits. You can see here an extra word, right? In blue, red, from register. The word register. From there we got REG. Now, why we need this? We will talk. Why we need this? Now here, end module. You know, end module is the end of module. So module and module. So here is our code. Okay. Here it says always at, in the bracket, positive edge, clock. So this means that if we have a positive edge of clock, if you have an edge for clock,
what is that?
Edge. Edge. If you have positive edge of clock,
Yes.
if we have this, only then this one will happen. Okay, so this is Q, the output, it gets the value D. Now you can see here,
It's not required.
yes, but it is here actually an assign. It's a special assignment inside always. Okay. We will talk about the difference. We will talk about the difference of this.
Now Q becomes
And this.
minus Q. Here, Q.
No, not minus. Q. It is like this. This one is like this, but there is some difference. We will see. We will discuss. Okay. This one and this
Same
one.
equal.
is equal, same as equal here, but it has some meaning, it has other meaning. We will see the difference. We will see the difference. Now, know that Q false or assigns the value D. Okay, N body. So if you, here you can see the comment pronouns Q gets D. How you read this one? How you read this one is Q gets D. Q receives the value D. Okay. Now here you can see in the output here, output declaration, we said we have to use this word reg. This is every time we have a variable here on the left side. Every time we have a variable or a signal, not variable, signal at the left side, inside this always, you need to read it as, or write here reg. This is the rule for Verilog. Okay, remember.
Just the rule, right?
Just the rule, yes.
The head.
Yes. Here, clock or D, they do not have reg, right? Because they are not on the left side. You understand? On the left side of this assignment. Left side means it will get the value.
Yeah.
It will get the left side. Left side means it will get the value.
Was there a big here?
Yes, but it is input, so normally we do not change the input, right? It is, we do not change the output. Normally the output or the wire. If we have some wire here, internal signals, right? Then also we sometimes we need to put reg. We will see other examples. Okay, this is the schematic. So we will see more examples. This is D flip-flop. Now, resetable D flip-flop. Remember, when we discussed D flip-flop, we talked about normal D flip-flop. We first talked about D latch, right? D latch. Then we talked about D flip-flop.
Yeah.
Then we talked about D resetable D flip-flop. Then we talked about flip-flop, D flip-flop with enable. Right? Enable, disable. Right? So here it says resetable D flip-flop. How to make it? In fact, remember in chapter 3 we talked about two kinds of reset. One is synchronous, another one is asynchronous. If you have studied for exam, you will find that D flip-flop, resetable D flip-flop, they have two kinds. One is synchronous, another one is asynchronous. So synchronous means the flip-flop, if you give the reset, it will reset the flip-flop only if you have an edge, clock edge. That's why it is synchronous. Synchronous with edge. Clock. Synchronous with clock. But in asynchronous, every time you give reset, it will reset. Do you understand?
Okay. Sure.
In synchronous, the flip-flop, when you give the reset, say reset equal to high, it will not reset the output. It will reset the output when you have the clock edge. You understand? When you have the clock edge, yes, going from low to high, only then it will do. But in asynchronous, whenever you give the reset, it will automatically reset. Same time, at that time.
Always it's the reset.
Hmm?
Always it's reset.
Yes, always it will reset. If you give reset, it will reset.
You give
Like when I say, I give you a homework and I tell you that you have to give me, say, on Saturday. Now, it can be synchronous, it can be asynchronous. Synchronous means, say, you can give only if I am in office. Do you understand? You can give only if I am in office. So I am in office means I am a clock edge, suppose, and you are the reset. So you can give me homework when I am in office. So this is synchronous, synchronous with my office, right? Asynchronous means what?
Anytime.
Anytime. If you don't find me, put under the door. This is asynchronous, right? You can come at 11 o'clock in the night, right? Or after Fajr. You can come and put it. This is asynchronous, anytime. But synchronous means no. If you put it, it will not work. Maybe I will put something box under my door. So every time you want to put, it will not go. So, but when I am office, I will remove it. So you can give me. You understand? So
Teacher, in asynchronous, you can scan the clock.
no, clock is there, but there is a special case for reset. If the reset button is there, it will clear the output.
If you go to input to output. if you
No,
reset-
no, no. Reset has nothing to do with input. Reset means I don't care about input. I want to make it 0.
0.
Yes, this is the meaning of reset, right?
We can say synchronous, it has one condition, just only one condition. But in synchronous, it don't has anything.
Yes, something like this. So here, code for synchronous.
Synchronous list should be endpoint.
Yes, yes. So here, this is the code for synchronous. See, flip-flop, flop R, resettable. This is flop. This is flop R or resettable. Input is clock. We have extra input. See, input reset. In the normal flop, flip-flop, we do not have this reset, right? But here we have another input called reset, right?
Or we just put command.
Yes, yes, you can write here. Yes, no problem. You can write. Another one is here input is D, and as I told you, output is Q, but we need to put a red because inside the always Q is on the left. Okay, of this assignment. Okay, so here synchronous means always at if there is a clock edge. If there is a clock edge, then it will test if else like C. If else like C. So if in the bracket reset. So if the reset is true, Q will get the value 0, 4 bits, right? 4 bits 0, right? Else Q will get the value of D. Now can you tell me why this is synchronous? Can you tell me why this is synchronous?
That's not condition.
It is synchronous because say there is no clock. Suppose you make this reset high. Okay, make this reset high. But this one will not execute, right? Because the condition is here on the clock, not on the reset. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The condition is on the clock, not on the reset. Even if you change the reset, but if you do not change your clock, nothing will happen. But say if there is a edge for clock, then this one is true, right? This one is true. So the program or the code will check that if your reset is high, then it will make the output all 0. Else you give it edge. Maybe you want to load some data, right? You do not want to reset. You want to load some data. So else you will get the value of D. You understand? But in asynchronous, see, in the asynchronous, this part is same. This part is same. For synchronous, asynchronous, this part is same. Just a little change here. See, a little change here. Here you can see we have two conditions: the edge of clock and the edge of reset. See, here we have only the edge of clock, but here we have an edge of clock And also we have another condition on reset. Now say there is no edge for clock, but there is an edge for reset. So what will happen? This is OR. Actually, this is OR. If this condition is true or this condition is true, these things will happen. So if there is no clock, but you gave a reset, so this one is true. So it will check now. If reset is high, Q make Q 0. Else Q will still have the value of D. Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference? Here only is the condition is on clock, but here you have clock, also you have reset. So every time you give the reset, change the reset value from 0 to high, the output will get 0. Now the other one, D flip flop with enable plus reset both. So you have input clock, input reset, input enable, input D, and output Q. Okay. So here we do not have enable. Here we have clock, also reset, also enable. Okay. So this is the code for asynchronous reset plus enable. So this part is same as this. This part is same as this. Also this is same as this. See? Same. If reset is true, make Q 0.
Excuse me. Always we have this condition. If a reset Q.
For resettable flip flop, yes. For resettable flip flop, yes. Otherwise, if you do not put condition, if you just write this, then every time Q will be 0. Right? You need to put the condition on reset. Okay. Else, see here. If something, else something. Now here we have two if. If something, else if something. Okay. Here you can see if reset is true, you will do this thing. But if the reset is false, the next line will execute, right? But here you can see if reset is true, then you must make it 0. But if reset is not true, say there is no edge for reset, what should you do? This is enable, right? So Q will get the value of D, but enable must be high, right? Enable, that's why it's called enable. If enable is low, you should not change, right? The flip flop should not work. That's why here we put another condition called if the reset is true, Q will get the value of 0. Else if enable, this EN, if this is true, if this is high, Q will get the value of D. Do you understand? Here, see, there is no enable here. No, clock is different. Enable is, remember enable, we designed this one in the chapter 3.
0 or 1.
If you put 0, the circuit will not work. Output will not change.
What difference between enable and
Enable and clock. Enable means you are trying to close or open. Close or open. Clock means which time it will work. Clock will control the time, the moment when the output will change, the time. But it is time, but it is closed.
computer or not.
right? Like, for example, we have, say, office from morning to evening every day, but if it is, say, Friday, it is closed. Time is okay, but it is closed. You understand?
Yeah.
So clock is the time. Which time the data will change. But if you close it, the clock comes, but it will not change it. You understand? It is enable is for close or open, like this. Enable, disable. And clock is the control the time. If it is enable, then at which time it will change, clock will control. Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
Let's listen like registering the computer.
Register?
Registering.
Registry. No, there is two things. Registry is software. The computer registry is software. It is not register. You mean Windows registry, right?
Yes.
Windows registry is another thing, which is it is in software. It stores the different settings of your different hardware and software, the system settings. Okay, it's called registry. Register is hardware. Register is hardware inside the microprocessor. Inside your microprocessor is a hardware. There are many registers, different names. There are different names. When you study, especially assembly language, there is a course on assembly language for you. When you study that course, you will learn that inside a processor, what are the registers, different names, and you can use them in your program. You can use them. That I want to use this register, this register. You can store the value. You can get the value. Okay. But here we are learning how to make these registers. You understand? How to make this register. There you will learn how to use the registers in the microprocessor. There are different things you have to learn. How to use, how to make, different things. Because some of you may work in a company that makes these processors, right? Some of you may work in an embedded system company where you will write, say, some programs. So you will maybe need assembly language or something. Some of you may work in high level that you do not need to know about registers. So different jobs needs different things. But since we do not know what you will do after 4 years, right? Yes. We do not know. So we cannot teach you just one thing. We need to teach you different things. Yes. One thing you learn in short course, right? Like a training center. 1 course, 2 course, they will teach you. But in the university, we teach you many subjects. Why? Because you can, by this way, you can work in many things, many companies, right?
Right.
Say when you learn how to drive a car, you do not learn a single brand, right? You learn in general, right? Your license means you can drive all brands of car, right? Same thing. Otherwise, what will happen? If you learn only one car, if you have to change your car, you will be in big trouble, right? You need to learn again. So here, same thing. We teach you general things, but when you go into job, you need to learn specific things. Okay, maybe not from this course, not from other course, you need to learn again. It depends on what you do. Okay, so in the courses, we teach you simple things, basics. Basics. Anyway, so this is D flip-flop. Now the last thing about flip-flop is the latch. Who remembers what is the difference between D flip-flop and D latch? Remember what is the difference between D flip-flop and D latch? These questions can come in the exam, right? This is from chapter 3. What is the difference between a D flip-flop and a D latch? Yes.
Different club with a condition in rest. Latch with a condition in club.
No, here you are looking at the condition, but from what you know already, tell me. We said there are some problem with latch, so we want to design the flip-flop, right? Remember we talked about latch first, right? We talked about latch first. Then we say that it is good, but it has some problems. So we designed a flip-flop that does not have the problem. So what was the problem? Yes.
On the latch, directly we have a numbers or magnitude for the Q.
Okay.
Yes, but in the D flip-flop, we can say we have two kinds. We have 0 on Q, or we have D for magnitude. You know, this the difference between it.
It's not very clear. Anyway, so the main difference is in the latch or in the flip-flop. In the flip-flop, the flip-flop will work only on the edge. For the flip-flop, it will transfer the data into the output when you have an edge, clock edge, the time. The time of transfer is at the clock edge. But for the latch, if clock is high, output will be transferred to the, input will go to the output. Input will go to the
Output.
output. Do you understand?
I get it.
For the latch, if clock is high, D will go to the output. But for flip-flop, clock is high, not enough. Clock must go from low to high. And the time when it goes from low to high, the output, the D will go to the output Q.
Okay.
Okay, if you click high,
No problem.
in
In the flip-flop, it will not finish. It will not work. Only at the edge it will work. Clock is low, clock is high. D flip-flop, it will not work. Only when it goes from low to high, the time, the edge, as I told you, the edge. From when it is low, when it is high, no, flip-flop will not work. But when it goes from low to high, the edge, when it makes the edge, the flip-flop will work.
Okay. On the latch, we can say we don't have 0 on the output.
No,
How we can?
it will store the previous value. This is called latch or flip-flop. It will store the value.
Okay.
It can be 0, it can be 1, based on what was before.
No, not for that. For the magnitude, for the value. You see that it's D, equal to D.
Yes.
But on the previous, on the D flip-flop, we have two conditions.
The value will be D, no problem. But here you have a condition. You need to have a clock edge. You need to have an edge. If you have the edge, you can have Q gets D. But for latch, see, it is not the edge. If clock is high, then or you have a value D, okay, then it checks if there is a clock, you will get the value D. This is latch. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
in the flip-flop,
Flip-flop.
if you click high, not work, yeah?
Yes. See,
What should be?
in the D flip-flop, if clock is high or clock is low, this one will not work. The output will not change. If you change here, it will not change. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you keep your clock, say, low or high, always low, always high, and change your D, no, output will not change. output will change if your clock is low. Now you make it high. Then the time you make it high,
In this time.
in this time when it goes from low to high, that time the flip-flop will work and output will change. Output will change. Check again chapter 3. This is in the exam also. Chapter 3 we have this thing. Why we go from latch to flip-flop. We put 2 D latch. Remember, we put 2 D latch to make a D flip-flop. One is master, another one is slave. In the first value of clock, the first one will load. Then when clock goes from low to high, when high, this one will load. So you will feel that when you go from low to high, you are getting the output. Read again chapter 3. It's an important part. Okay? So we have some other parts. Let's see. Okay. This is a special case of always. This is a special case of always. It says always add. See? Always add. In the bracket you have the condition. Huh?
Okay.
Here star means every time. You know, in the search, in the computer search, you can use this star to mean anything. Do you know this? If you search in your computer, in the Windows, say QU star, search
It's
a
a
file,
star-
search file with
start
name
with
QU
QU.
star. This means
Anything else?
anything that starts with QU and after that can be anything. One character, no character, many characters, no problem. But it must start with
QU.
QU. So this star, we use it in many ways, and one of the way is to mean anything. Okay. To mean anything. This star, the meaning here means anything. You understand? Anything. Okay. Here the meaning is anything. Okay. Always add in the bracket star means any condition. Okay. Every time, like it is it means like every time it is true. Every time it is true. Now you have more than one statement. If you have more than one statement, then you should write begin and end. You can see here, like we do not have begin end because of one line or one block. Like if else if is together. So you do not need begin end. But if you have more than one statement, different statements, then you should write begin and end, and inside it you write your statements. Okay. So actually this is an example, just an example how to use this star and these things. Okay, these things, and it is just calculates and or XOR. No, there is nothing special, just for exercise. You can see input AB, right? AB, 4 bits, and output we have Y1, Y2 up to Y5, all 4 bits, and you need to write this reg. Why? Because this Y2, Y1 to Y5, they are all inside always, and on the left, right? Now here you need to see two things. One thing is, previously we saw that if you write like this, something, we wrote here assign, right? Remember this?
Yes.
And the first few examples we saw, see, assign y equal to this, right? But see this example,
So,
there is no assign here.
Because we have our groups.
Yes. So there is no assign here. So if you write y equals something inside always, you do not need to write assign. Okay. You do not need to write assign. Now, actually there are, as I told you, I will tell you the difference. So one format is assign y equals say d. Another one, like here, say y equals only d, no assign. Another one we saw this one, right? Yes. This one we saw here. Say q gets d. So we saw three types. We saw three types. 1, 2, 3. So what is the difference? What is the difference? The difference is for this one and this one. Here. This is type 2, right? These lines are type number 2, right? If you say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So these are second type, right? Type 2. Okay. So this kind of assignment means the first line will execute first, then second one, then third one, then fourth, then fifth, like one by one, like delay. You understand? How many assignments we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 assignments, right? Now, if you write assignments in this way, using only an equal, this means the first line, this one, y1 will get this value.